Hi everyone, my name's Dana Sawyer and I am giving a short introduction to a series of Q&As called Ask Dana. And in this short introduction, I want to ask the question, why ask Dana? Why should we ask Dana anything? I've been with ChIME ever since Jacob Watson began it from the first year. I'm very committed to ChIME. I think it has an incredible mission and does a lot of good work. I've worked with a lot of ChIME people over the year besides doing workshops every year. But besides my connection to ChIME, I have been studying world religions for more than 40 years, taught world religions at the college level for 32 years, 28 of them at the Maine College of Art. And so I have some expertise in world religions. I've traveled around the world many times. I've been to India 18 times. But I am not an expert on what's useful to you. I'm a college professor. I've never seen a burning bush. I am not an enlightened Buddha. I just have my ideas and my opinions. So if you find... teaching courses at places like Esalen and Kripalu, I often will begin my talks by saying, I'm not claiming all knowledge. I'm not a sage on a stage. For all I know, the entire audience is filled with living bodhisattvas who are only there to check my math. So if you find something useful in my answers to the Ask Dana questions, then I'm glad I could be helpful. I'd love to be in discussion with you about these things, which would be wonderful. I could be the beneficiary of your wisdom. So if it's useful, keep it. If it's not, forget about it and move on. And then last thing to say here in this short introduction is that I'm most comfortable, of course, with questions about world religions and their traditional cultures, and less so about my judgments about religion and things like that, just as a rule of thumb. So thanks a lot. Here we go. And I'm going to have some fun with it. I hope you do too. And the question is, how do you introduce children to spirituality? Well, my 2 cents on that one is, first of all, you have to remember that they don't need an introduction. Children are spiritual by nature, just like they're physical by nature. And they haven't been trained to think that their spirit is something separate from their physical nature, so they don't. I think what I would most coach is that we as adults have to stay open to what we can learn from them. One of the things I've always believed is that our bodies, our physical selves, are literally and figuratively just the bleeding edge of our soul, of our spirit. So children don't make a distinction between physical and spiritual, and I don't think we should either. I think we should see our bodies as integral to what our spirit is. It's the skin on the apple, if you will. No separation. Get them outside. That's another thing that I would highly recommend. And when you're outside with them, again, stay open to what you can learn. I remember one time when my daughters were little, they were going to Waynfleet, a school in Portland, Maine, and we were walking to school one morning, and it was spring, and there were these beautiful spring flowers going down Brackett Street in Portland, Maine. And my oldest daughter, Sophie, said, "Look at all these beautiful flowers." And I said, "Wow, those are beautiful." And she said, "Can we go this way and look at them?" And I said, "Well, this way's quicker." And she said, "Oh, are we in a hurry?" And I had to think about that because, yes, we're adults. We're always in a hurry. And so as I thought about it, there was the realization, actually, we don't need to hurry at all, so why am I hurrying? And of course, the answer is that I am conditioned to be a hurrier, as most adults are. So children are in the present, kind of camped out in it, and being present is a large part of spirituality. So taking the time, like I did that day, to slow down and say, yeah, let's go the beautiful way and enjoy this time together is a tremendous lesson that we can pick up from them. I said get them outside because being outside, children just fall in love with the magic of the world. Chasing birds, chasing butterflies, trying to figure out how things work, getting dirty. These are spiritual things, or they can be spiritual things. Spirituality can be fun. It isn't sitting with eyes closed in a church or a Buddhist temple. It's trying to get your eyes open. And children are good at that in so many ways. One of the last couple of things I would share is model kindness for them. They're not impressed by big ideas. You've got to live it. You've got to show it to them in terms of your behavior. That's where the rubber meets the road, to mix metaphors. A friend of mine who's a Buddhist practitioner tried to talk with her kids about, the kleshas. There are these concepts of afflictive emotions like anger and jealousy and ego. And you got to keep your mind separate from those things. And I think that would mostly make children paranoid, like, what are these things trying to get me? But when she switched it over to a story about how our mind is like a beautiful garden filled with flowers and butterflies, and that sometimes that garden is encroached upon by these selfish pigs who just want all the garden for themselves, and their anger and their jealousy and their pride, and they come in and they ruin the peaceful garden. So keeping the pigs out of the garden became a metaphor for let's stay patient, let's stay centered in our life and not be overwhelmed by these things. So playful, fun, present, these are things that come to my mind. And remembering to realize that you're the student when you're with them. Okay, bye.